First shot at the Vanguard newspaper this beautiful Monday morning. Experts see danger around minimum wage battle. And there are riders under that caption, President, National Assembly will determine our next action label. Alleges conspiracy between governors OPS. ITUC writes Pabio for labeling strike as act of economic sabotage. Governors, senators, reps should also earn 62,000 naira minimum wage. Umbaka. Now, moving to education. Basic education, why UBE Act must be reviewed. Senate, UBEC boss others. That story is found on page 8 rather, on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Obi mocks INEC. South Africa elections didn't experience glitches. Interesting. Page 8. Gunmen abduct 30 passengers in Nasarawa as bandits attack Catholic Church in Kaduna. Abduct priest. Let me take two more. Airfares, prices skyrocket, distort travel plans. And the last one, Al Jonathan, wife, others forced Wike on Rivers Clark. These and many more stories will be found on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper this Monday morning.
All right, looking at the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, punching down headlines, and this headline is screaming and has two riders on the front page of the Punch. Phil Foods lead as imports hit 12 trillion naira. Two riders to that screaming headline. Manufacturers import 1.5 trillion naira raw materials. Food imports gobs 921 billion naira. And the next writer says Nigeria gets a 19 trillion naira forex from crude oil. Solid mineral export. Others. Looking at the pocket headline coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. Reps to meet governors as Borno opposes state police. Going to the cap headline this morning from the Punch newspaper. States work on a total electricity subsidy removal. New tariff. Marketers register with Dangote refinery ahead of loading. Minimum wage talks end today. Labour awaits Tinubu's nod. That is the most interesting headline that Nigerians want to talk about this morning, and we should also know where we're headed. EU raises Schengen visa fee to 90 euros, and I saw a particular headline that the rejected Schengen visa for application from Nigerians, European Union earned a lot concerning the Schengen visa for those who want to jackpot and for those who are also applying. But we know something will surely change. I know. Remember, we were saying something here when the UK government came out with the policy of stopping dependents coming. I knew that you got to say that you people will be broke and you want Nigerians to come and apply again, right?
And they have to rescind on their decision eventually.
Yes, and I also heard that of the Canadian, plans, but they are not paying me. Vandalism. FG tightens security on third mainland bridge. Local refining may crash petrol price to 300 naira per litre. Modular refineries. Police students, 25 others abducted on Abuja Nasarawa Highway. The last headline coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. Democracy Day. FG to hold parade. Youth Summit. Dinner. Well, I did not see the breakdown that Mr. President will address Nigerians. These are the headlines you can find on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Okay, moving to the Nigerian Tribune this morning. The screaming headline on the front page says anti-open grazing bill. Miyetti Allah Pandef Oaneze in fresh row. Lawyers insist on proposed law. Farmers herders crisis. Threat to corporate existence of Nigeria, CUPP. I mean, this is another issue that has been generating lots of controversies over the weekend. It almost caused a rowdy session at the Senate sometime last week. Moving away from that, Amotekun commander wants outfit upgraded to state police, page 26. Kwara female pilgrim committed suicide in Medina, Saudi authorities. That's a very sad one. Declining investment in telecom sector may affect remote banking services. Soldiers killing. Army raids IPOP's camp in Abia, kills 6. Page 27. Rising transportation costs causing surge of commodity prices in marketplaces. Experts. Let me take two more headlines. Atiku tackles Sitima over claim on enjoying Tinubu's goodwill. And the last one, NDLEA arrest Nigerian 9 others with illicit drugs.
Okay, so I have just a few headlines coming from the Nation newspaper this morning. The FIFA World Cup 26 been wants to beat Nigeria and Abidjan, says roar. Wigway held as Access Bank UNICEF charity journey ends. NPFL crowd trouble. Mass Oriental Debbie in Enugu. Tinubu rejigs climate change console. Lauren Party announces Temi Otedola new ambassador for Africa. Experts how Nigeria can gain from new maritime territory. This and more you can get from the Nation newspaper this morning. Check the time right now. It is 9:40, and we focus on the pocket headline coming from that's a cap headline coming from the Punch newspaper. Minimum wage talks end today. Labour waits Tinubu's nod. Well, let's also listen to the members of the Tripartite Committee, same as the organized labor. Remember, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has been the man fronting, saying that governors cannot pay above 60,000 naira. We also listen to the Minister of Labor in Kuruka, same as the TUC president, that's Osifo, who also gave his own part why Labour also had to come down from a high horse of over 400,000 naira to over 200,000 naira based on negotiations. And after that, Comrade Ayode Jadishakwa will be joining us from the other end.
The private sector and the government side have agreed on a figure based on what they term as a figure that they can afford. While the Nigeria Labour Congress is also looking at other indices to say that they recommend, if for any reason it can be approved, the sum of 250,000. The whole thing is that, like I said while I was talking to NTA, that the tripartite committee does not have a power of approval. It's just to recommend.
Right. And we were able to engage the critical stakeholders involved in the conversation. And at the end of the day, out of the 3 parties involved in the tripartite committee, both the organized private sector, the government, and organized labor, we met, and the 2 parties have already agreed to go with 62,000. And then, as at yesterday, the labor insisted on 390,000. They have come down to 250,000. In any event, among the 3 parties, 2 have come together to be the majority.
We had to calm down. Initially we started from 615,000 naira, but we moved close to 150%, precisely about 146% from our initial submission. And today we are making a recommendation of 250,000 naira to Mr. President for onward transmission to the National Assembly. So that is where we are today.
It's issue of 3 people negotiating, and you don't expect them to come in one day and just agree, because there are certain indices that you have to take into consideration, and there are certain things that they are also looking at. And then having come to this end, I believe that we have to move forward.
Well, members of the Tripartite Committee set up by the federal government and organized labor, fronting for the organized labor was the TUC president, Osifo, speaking there. 9:44 is the time, and now we look at this and what will be happening after today's meeting. Remember, before the Nigerian Labour Union, the organized labor NLC2UC decided to put on hold the strike, they said there will be continuous negotiation for 5 days. Today is Monday. Comrade Ayode Jadishakwa is with us this morning. Comrade, top of the morning to you. Thank God it's Monday.
Top of the morning, Monday morning to you, my dear comrade brothers.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if you're in Abuja or you are in Ibadan. Where are you presently?
I am in this crawling city of Ibadan.
Okay.
Ibadan is not crawling. Okay, well, you can maybe.
Crawling, huge, not crawling.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I guess maybe you're.
Vibrant city.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe you can also move closer to your mouthpiece if you're using the earpiece, or
What did
you
you say?
move your mouth closer to the earpiece. I mean, to the mouthpiece of your phone, so that we can hear you clearly.
All right. Is it better?
Better.
I think it's better now.
Better. We can manage
Yeah.
this. All right. So, looking at the cap headline coming from the Punch newspaper today, minimum wage talks end today. Labour awaits Tinubu's nod. Remember last week, Wale Edun, the Minister of Finance, also, brought out a template of a new minimum wage. And there was a lot of stories going back and forth debunking that the template was around 150, 105. But what are your expectations after today's negotiations?
Well, let me state that currently, even the labor leaders that are fighting for this minimum wage, they are out of the country presently as we speak. All of them, all are out of the country. They are in Geneva, attending an ILO, International Labour Organization conference in Geneva, Switzerland. And I asked myself, this is a fight of your life. And, the president can speak anytime. The president can give his asset. Even the president can play on that. Why are they? Security reports say that they're out of the country. Okay, let me make a pronouncement. And then they start rushing back on what? Before they get themselves together, the government will have entrenched itself. So that is a lack of functional strategy on their part. Number two, 62,000 to 250, and then the states are saying they cannot even pay 60, 57.
Above 60.
And today is the last day. The day that you gave as the last day, for negotiation. Yet you are outside of the country. I mean, that is not particularly responsible on the part of Labour. But I am curious, what will be the middle ground? And if you say 250, even if you say 100, who will pay? And then if they agree, I mean, what are the grounds for agreeing to 60 or 62? What are the grounds? You understand? What are they going to tell the workers? We consider this, we consider that. Why are you not considering all of that before you put your numbers together from 1 million to 750 to 625, 497, and now 250? For God's sake, look at the movement of government from 54, to 57 to 60 to 62. Look at the tight movement government is making. So they didn't even do 10,000. Okay, 54. They didn't even do 10,000 on their initial offer. Government did not even do 10,000. And now you are moving from 1 million to 250. For God's sake, come on.
Do we say that? You remember the organized labor said it's the federal government that is not serious. But are we not seeing an unserious organized labor here and just wasting time of Nigerians?
It is looking like that. It is looking like that they are not strategic. It's looking like they are not, they are not doing. This is not neat. And like on the labor of old that we used to have, serious men and women, especially the Agaro guy. You can say you even give some credit to the TUC, but I would not be surprised. TUC is comprised of top echelon officers in various areas of endeavor, not the ragtag army of NLC led by Joe Ajero. This is not looking good. I mean, and everybody is pointing fingers at Joe Ajero. Even one of I read something yesterday. They're actually pointing fingers at Joe Ajero, including government. And that's why they are waving the treason flag.
Okay, talking about pointing fingers now, there is an allegation, coming from Labour, saying that there is a conspiracy between the governors and the organized private sector. What's your take on that? On this particular issue?
Well, that's a deployment of words. You call it conspiracy, they will call it a convergence of interest, It's as simple as that. That's a convergence of interest, and then you call it conspiracy. It looks like conspiracy to you, but to them it's a convergence of interest. It's a convergence of interest. So that's mere semantics. Mere semantics.
And another one coming from Father Mbaka saying that senators, governors, and reps should also earn 62,000 naira minimum wage if that is what the government is proposing to the workers.
Why not? They are public servants. Somebody sent me a clip, though some of it's not likely true, of all sorts of allowances that they earn. Of course, I worked in the National Assembly, and of course, any day they call for a closed-door session in which they will even drive us out of the chambers. They're talking about money. They're not talking about national security. They're not talking about the economy. They're not talking about challenges confronting Nigeria educational sector. They are always talking about money. So, and it is even gotten terribly worse now than it was before. Look, why not? Minimum wage. I did a report.
Comrade, can you just try and change your location? We're finding it difficult to, to hear you clearly. Comrade, are you there? We have to just reconnect with Comrade Ayode Jadishakwe this morning because we're finding it difficult to hear and connect with him clearly. Remember, we're still talking about the final day of negotiations between the organized labor and the tripartite committee set up by the federal government. But remember, I'm talking about the tripartite committee. I mean, it's already organized labor. Comrade, let me declare that the labor leaders are in Geneva. But we surely have people to also represent at the meeting.
Definitely.
The reason they call them representatives, right? You surely have people representing because there was a meeting, negotiation time where it was more of the representatives of the governors forum that was on that table in Abuja before organized labor walked out. Will there be a walkout this morning today as well? And remember, Nigeria lost billions of naira on the day one of the strike. So if we know the national grid got shut down, a lot of people could not go to their places of work. People will know what happened at different hospitals, government-owned hospitals, and the likes. Well, 9:52 Comrade is back. All right, Comrade, let's have you take more.
Yes. So we're talking about shutting down the national grid. Well, in the law book, that is criminal. That is what the law says. And I was reading somewhere yesterday. You see, government has been very, very careful. Government is fully aware that people are unhappy. People are in pain, severe economic hardship. So they are not going to take on the labor movement. You will notice that in all the negotiations for new minimum wage, the National Security Advisor is always there. That is unusual. That is unusual. So they are treating labor with kid gloves. Go and check out the Cyber Crime Act of 2015. All of this. National Grid, Power is one of those listed as critical national infrastructure. So all of these things, but the government is playing all of this down because they know that the populace agrees. And any attempt to, try to arrest or prosecute, even in spite of a court order, and the labor movement is saying, no, we're not going to obey any court order that is not in their interest. That is irresponsible. That is not particularly good.
Okay.
So in the books, it is criminal.
Okay, now let's look at the final day now. The final day today, what should we expect? Do we see labor backing down to the level of the federal government, or do we see a negotiation ending in deadlock today? And do we see ourselves going back to the nationwide strike after today?
Well, what I'm sure of is that the labor will back down. Labor will back down. They certainly look, particularly about national security here. They have those there on these guys. The government will do the needful, and they will back down. And they will come out and say, in the interest of the fragile economy, and in the interest of the workers.
When you said the government will do the needful, what are you referring to?
Of course, government is in control of all apparatus of coercion. Of course. Now, government does that all over the world. Government does that all over the world. They deploy the apparatus of coercion and they get what they need to get. It's as straightforward as that. Labour is not going to get 100,000. That is mere deception. They're not going to get 100,000. They're not even going to get 70. They're not even going to get 75. How much are they? The government is doing for 62. So they're not going to get more than that.
Okay, all right then. But I don't know if Dapo still has anything on this labor matters.
Well, we wait to see. By 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. we'll get more. And remember, on this station, consider the vendor is 9 to 10, right? Nigerians will also get more from that end. Following the decision, that may be the decision of the tripartite committee, suggesting to federal government or the agreement from the organized labor as well. Remember, anybody can connect with anybody across the globe. Virtually, the labor leaders can join the meeting today. Despite
from Geneva.
Yes, despite being in Geneva. But let's keep our fingers crossed. But now let's talk about a germane one this morning on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
All right, talking about the recently proposed bill at the Senate, floor of the Senate on Friday, talking about the anti-open grazing bill. I mean, there is Senator Titus Zam from Benue State who proposed that there should be establishment of national agencies for ranch management to stop the open grazing of farmers in order to curb this incessant farmers-herders clashes. And he actually had an opposition, some opposition from the northern senators. And we have this popular one, Senator Mohammed Alero. I'm sure you are aware of the story. When he stood up and he read a particular part of the Constitution, Section 41, talking about the freedom of movement, relating Nigerians to cows. What's your take on the little drama, the mild drama that happened at the floor of the Senate on Friday?
Well, the Senate president responded promptly and said, cows, Nigerian citizens. And of course, the Senate president incidentally is a lawyer, so he must know what he's talking about. You see, people get sentimental. Look, the guy that brought that bill to the Senate is a northern senator. He's from Benue. From Kwara to up there is the part of the north. So you see, we must confront our challenge fairly. We have a problem with this. Some are still talking about grazing routes. I mean, is that, and then they are saying that is their own way of life. Yes, but it's no longer acceptable. Okay, if we say in the south or in the south part that killing of twins is their way of life, can you imagine? If you continue to say it is our culture that any set of twins must be killed, is that acceptable? Is that not even against the law? You understand? That would be tantamount to murder. You understand? So all these things, we are evolving, the world is evolving, and we must evolve accordingly. How can you say we did it 500 years ago, and that's what we're going to continue to do it? No, we have to evolve. We have to evolve to suit our developmental and the needs even of the future, not even of the present. We are way behind regarding that. It is ridiculous. Riding and driving cows from Sokoto to Lagos. For God's sake, what quality of meat and milk are you going to get from that kind of animal? It's senseless. It's not sensible at all.
Well, looking at the way that some of the northern senators are opposed to that bill on Friday, I mean, you begin to wonder, are they really in tandem with the realities of what happens when this cows or this cattle are being moved?
They are playing politics. They are playing politics. A number of them have ranches. It's as straightforward as that. One of them even openly said that it cost him 60 million or something. Their resources be made available. Their resources be made available. A lot of benefit. Up till tomorrow, we don't produce milk in this country. Milk is, imported, and then all they do here is just packaging of it. 70 years, that company has been, 72 years, that company has been here importing finished products and packaging here, and they are saying they are making milk in Nigeria. Damn milk. For God's sake, we should move forward. We should move forward. We are too backward in that area, and we have comparative advantage. Let us take advantage of where we have comparative advantage.
Okay, taking advantage of what we have. Well, if you look at the itinerary of the federal government ahead of June 12, Democracy Day, FG to hold a parade, a youth summit, dinner. I was expecting to see, okay, federal Mr. President to
Presidential
address
broadcast.
to address the nation, but I did not see that. Maybe they may readjust today ahead of June 12 in the next 2 days. What are your expectations?
I suspect the president will either address the nation or attend an event and tell us about, the president is a dreamer, and tell us stuff about the force for democracy and the vision of democracy and what democracy will bring us, where it will take us to, and all of that. The president would do that. He will do that. He will not keep silent. He's a dreamer and he expresses himself. You see how he does it every time. That's been the man and that's been the star. So since he came into office, he's been doing that. So, and we will expect the president to address or at least speak at any platform available and reiterate his concept of democracy and liberty. Yes, beyond democracy, liberty.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed ahead of June 12. Remember, but tomorrow we'll also get more information. But that was the statement we got yesterday. But before you go, reps to meet governors as Borno opposes state police. It is still more of security. If Borno State is opposing state police, we know what is happening in that state. And we're talking about intelligence gathering, intelligence reporting. What do you think the Borno State governor should be saying here? Are you also surprised with that headline?
I didn't get that clearly.
Reps to meet governors as Borno opposes state police. Now, with the current security crisis in Borno State, do you think the governor should be opposing state police?
Well, Borno is in a peculiar situation. Thank God for the governor they have in Borno. If not for that man, you know how many times he almost got killed, trying to go to the field. He's in a peculiar situation. And it is taught, and of course, he's an academic with a reputation. That man has a reputation for his character and integrity. And if he talks, he should listen to him and hear his own side of the story. Okay. Of course, we can expand our view and incorporate whatever he views. Of course, when they meet the rest, they will certainly air their view from their perspective. And then an integration of perspectives to serve in the interest of all.
All right. Well, comrade, looking at our time this morning, we have to drive down the analysis this morning and make a return tomorrow morning because Dr. Victory Oyendikachi, not comrade this morning, will be coming on board.
No,
it's not comrade. He's not wearing the cap of a comrade this morning. He'll be wearing the cap of a medical expert. Oh, sorry. A medical broadcaster. All right, comrade. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and remember to stay safe out there.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless our union.
All right. God bless Nigeria. All right, well, Comrade Aide Jadishokwe there with his analysis. But let's check what Nigerians are saying this morning. Remember, you can also be part of the program. We have less than 5 minutes to wrap up the show. You can call into the studio 0909-888-9939, 0912-222-2939, 0909-888-9939, or 0912-222-2939. Remember, the WhatsApp line is open, including SMS, 0904 422-2939, 0904-422-2939. Facebook, we have comments there. You can also send us message. Tweet at us via X, or X at us via X at Solutions 939
okay.
FM.
I have some messages here. This one is coming from Femi Fashino, saying that state governors that cannot pay 62,000 naira minimum wage, how are they going to pay police officer salary? I mean, talking about establishment of a state police. And another one says, it's coming from Michael Azobike, state police is good for total security of the state territory. To me, this is not a major problem for now. Food importation, where is the food? Okay, that is referring to that story on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Okay, checking another comment here this morning, and this is coming from Oluwaseun Ruth. And Oluwaseun Ruth says, good morning. The issue of a state police is a good one because our security is local. And with the way our security has degenerated, it's obvious that the central police has been overwhelmed. And as such, we're supposed to bring in our local security outfit in a bid to complement their efforts, just like the Amotekun Corps is doing in the Southwest, because they are being well equipped by the governors. All right. Do you have any other comments, or we call it a day?
Okay, I have this one saying vandalism, FD Titan security on 3rd Mainland Bridge. What about newly constructed second Niger Bridge that recently experienced that is recently experiencing the destruction? Okay, everything's still talking about security here. Let me see. Do you have any more comments there?
Well, no comment.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say, when you say any comment, no comments.
All right. Time is fast spent. It's about time for us to leave the studio for
All right.
Victory.
Okay, so coming up next is the Solutions Clinic with Victory Onyedikachi. But remember, AM Updates makes a return tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, with Kickoff Sports Show, and 9:30 we'll look at the headlines from the dailies. My name is OLADAPO Okunubi.
And my name is ADEDAMOLA Lafewa, wishing you a money-making Monday. Good morning.
Hurry up, I have to go. Looking round, you see all the people making faces very cool. Carry me away, far from the circles that never breaks.